I know we talked a little bit yesterday post-game, but you heard me also talk about complementary football, all phases being an extension of one another. And it's one thing to talk about it, but I absolutely felt it, lived it. The returns to field position that led to a touchdown. I saw it with a turnover in the first quarter, defensive getting a stop. I saw it with a 2-minute drive at the end of the half to try to get some points at the end. So kind of the fun part about all of that is you don't know who's the one that's going to pop off and do the thing. So yesterday that might have been Jeremy McNichol, in the second quarter to get the long touchdown run. There was other players. I felt like Ben Sinnott in the run game, Payne and Kinlaw at defensive tackle, Debo and Jaylen Lane on the return side. So it was just different people, in different spaces, and I thought that was one of the real key factors in the game. Injury-wise, safety Will Harris unfortunately broke his fibula, and he'll be put onto IR. He has been an absolutely fantastic addition for us, and we hope at some point that we'll get him back. But he'll go on IR. The team is also going to sign safety Darnell Savage as well. So on the plus side, from the injury side, Marshawn Lattimore has cleared from the concussion protocol. And I'm sure there's a lot of questions regarding injuries and updates that on Wednesday I'll be better qualified to fill you in on where we're at and the assessments from there. But I am more than pumped to talk about the game and what's ahead.
All right, Kime?
Excuse me, Dan, with Harris, what is it that you're losing most? And then with Darnell, what are you getting?
With losing most, I thought really in the coverage game, man, have I felt that, John, like the matchups, you've seen of him and Zach, and in fact, I talked about that in the team meeting today. So I feel the speed and the coverage ability from Will. That's one thing. This is a position that we've got some really talented guys with Owens and Reeves and Butler and how to go, and so adding Savage into that group, we'll see as we move forward. We're very excited to have him here, but as far as the roles and that, I think we're still, we'll work through that to go. It's a deep position for us, but Will has a very unique skill set. His background at corner certainly helps, but he's been an excellent addition for us. And like I said, I don't know when that would be. I don't have all that kind of information, John, in terms of returns and such, but it's a big deal for us.
And then with Jayden, what is the plan this week?
Yeah, we're still listing him as day-to-day, and then as we get into Wednesday, I'll be more qualified to, hit us on what types of practice and what we can hit on to go. So he went through some things today, some more tomorrow, and that'll lead us up into Wednesday. But when we get together prior to practice, I'll have a better idea for the plan. We've not nailed that down for the week as of yet.
Thank you.
Nikki?
Gideon, when you went back and looked at the tape, what really stood out to you about why the offense was especially efficient in this game?
Yeah, I thought that really first thing first, the run game I thought, was something that we stayed committed to. I thought the backs really hit it and were aggressive, all in their own way, Nikki, which is in itself like a fun conversation to have, where Jeremy's a little bit different than Chris and Bill's different from both of them as well, but having the whole complement of it, and then that, to me, was the big piece of it. We did different personnel groups, different ways to go about it, and I thought that was the thing that stood out to me. I certainly felt they pressured some. The blitz pickup was good. There was one certainly by Bill early against, who I think is an excellent blitzer. So I started having the variety, and like the run game takes time, so the fact that, 2 of the 3 times it went well, we're not all the way where we're going to be at it, but I'm very encouraged about, what it can be.
And how did you feel Chris Paul and Andrew Wiley did at guard?
Yeah, I knew that would come up to go. I was pleased with Chris inside the strength of him, Nikki, and that we knew that going into camp and where it was. And all 4 of the guards, like we're just still kind of in the early days with Chris and Andrew and Nick and Brandon to go, and so it may take a little bit of time to sort itself out to go, but to see Chris, he deserved that chance to go battle for it. I thought he had an excellent camp. And he was ready to go fight, and I'm not gonna say throw his hat in the ring like that cliche, but like he was really ready to go prove himself and execute and do that at a high level. I'd been impressed, with the Raiders, especially at linebacker. I thought they had square, they were strong, they could play, and they had established they'd played the well run in the first 2 games. So we knew that would be a challenge, but I thought he answered the bell.
Tom?
Thanks, Dan. Kind of a follow-up question on that same point. A lot of people talk about coherence and having the same five guys in the offensive line. I'm curious why you felt comfortable. I mean, beyond liking Chris and Andrew, why did you feel comfortable shuffling that, and what led to that decision?
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be comfortable or that way to go. I mean, honestly, having the same group together and calls and working together, I think sometimes you just got to make sure, like, the competition's the central part of it, Tom, to make sure that's how we're going to get down and do things. And if you don't live that, then I think it's just a sign on the wall that you don't. And so we wanted to make sure, hey, if this takes some time to work itself out, we're committed to doing that. All of the guys, not just all line, but all the players, there's some things we work on. We have a program called EPP, and it's our pre-practice, post-practice, the skill work, and we take that really seriously. And at that position, to keep working the skills, to get better and better as we're going, that's a big deal. But I think it does show to the depth at the position that we're willing to dig in and keep battling for it. Sam Cosby's not far away in his space of where he's going. He's digging hard too. So once we get that going, like, we'll see where it all plays out. But we're committed to continuing to just find the edge, man.
David Aldridge?
Dan, how did Connerly hold up? I know they were moving Crosby around a lot, but how did he hold up generally?
Yeah, I thought it was a good day. Of the three games, I thought it was his best one. I thought this one and the Giants one were his two best DA to go through it. You see the movements also. The guy can pull, he can get on, like sometimes you can just say just in one phase, but he's had a hell of a matchups, for his first three games to go into it. And sometimes you go and you learn through the fights and where do you grow. And I would say, like, it's cool to see the game that didn't go well a week ago and then grow from it, get the lessons. How do I get better against a fantastic player? Did it all go great? No, but there was a lot to like. And I think that's what you're looking for, as a coach. Are we learning? Are you growing? Or are you stuck in the blender? And so for him, the growth at times is tough and it sucks when you go through it, but there's also when you come through the other way and you gain some confidence too, David, to say, okay, this is, is some of the highest levels that you go to, and you grow and you keep digging in.
Same question basically about Sinnott and Yankoff and how they did. And I know the blocking is going to be different for them than it was for Bates. It is
yes.
for Bates, but how'd they hold up?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's an important part of this. I thought Cliff and the guys did a good job in the design of that phase where John matchups are different. Bates in terms of who he goes to, where he goes to, whether it's big defensive ends or not, where Ben, we're going to use the speed off the ball to try to beat somebody that punch. So it was the most he's played and also the best he's played. And so I thought that was a good sign to see both of those in conjunction to others. You don't know exactly how a game is going to play out. You have what you're going to call where it is. You may lean into one when it's going stronger than another, and that was the case yesterday where, you're trying to have balance, but when the run game's going, you keep digging in to fight for it more. And it was just good to see him really cut it loose, David. That's what I was most proud of him yesterday, just aggressive, beating somebody to the punch, getting to the next level. Different than John. You're right.
Deshaun?
Hey, Dan, you guys have been doing a strong job both in terms of kick return and punt return and the coverage teams in both of those areas as well. What do you think has clicked for you guys in those specific areas?
Yeah, we really value it, Deshaun. We have. I guess it started as we think of it as a very big part of our play style and identity. The way we cover, the way we hit, the way we run. And we've got some experienced players there, primarily like Reeves and Ballore, and now you see them develop the others of the McGee's and Owens that go through it. So adding Jayden in the offseason through the draft, that was a big deal. And, you saw the demonstrated punt return ability from Tech and in fact, back from Middle Tennessee as well. But he's also grown on the receiving side. So that was a big deal. On the kick return side, we thought this would be something Debo would be really strong at, and Luke as well. They're aggressive runners to go hit it. But it's the front line. It's getting single blocks. Those are the ones that are challenged. We work those techniques hard against one another. And we're still growing into it as well. And we think as the season's going, what's changing? How do you see things different? You're seeing more footballs hit the ground, to try so you can take off when the ball hits the ground. So those are all part of things that we're growing and learning on. I think the kickers are also doing a good job of that. There's so much more to grow and learn in the kick return side of things. So we're just going to keep digging in as hard as we can.
Liam?
Hi, Coach. Jeremy Reeves is somebody who has started to make that transition from special teams ace to being a kind of defensive contributor. With that opening in the secondary with Will Harris's injury, how can somebody like Tyler Owen start to make that same jump from special teams to contributing more on defense? Yeah,
you have to, and he got some reps yesterday, Liam. It's good that you brought that up because he and Percy and Jeremy all have unique roles on both special teams and on defense, and so whose role goes up a little higher, who may have to go down a little bit. Not all of the return parts are exactly the same. Like the punt is the one that takes the most gas early, especially when you're outside. You could be in a vice and just absolutely battling for it. But we'll work through that this week to see who may get a little more playing time on defense. But Jeremy, you're exactly right, man. He not only is he one of our heavy hitters on special teams, but he is also establishing that on the defensive side as well, no doubt about it.
Thanks, Coach.
JP?
Hey, Dan, obviously yesterday you took the big pop. How you feeling today?
I did take a big pop. You're right. I'm feeling good, man. I appreciate you asking, and it was actually really cool. A lot of people have reached out, and I'm doing fine. But everybody reaching out, a lot of love, a lot of appreciation, it meant a lot to me. So a lot of texts, a lot of calls, check it in, see how I'm doing, both in the team and outside the team. So I appreciate you asking. I'm doing awesome, but it was cool to see that many people reach out. So I appreciated it.
Good. I'm glad you're feeling all right. Last night you talked about how impressed you were with Marcus. What, if any, impact does Marcus's play against the Raiders have on Jayden's timeline and the practice plan and everything for Jayden going against Atlanta?
Yeah, I think, JP, you probably heard me talk. I was probably one of the least surprised people in the stadium that he played well. Like, I just see him. I know what he is and how it goes. But as far as tying one to the other, that's not part of the deal. We just have a lot of trust in him and how we would go about it. But, man, we'll lean into the medical people and where we're at and what to do. But that type of preparation for him, it's just that kind of steady, consistent way. So, but they're not tied together, to answer your question.
Thank you.
You got it.
Scott?
Hey, DQ, glad you're holding up okay. Obviously, you mentioned the running game and how well you guys ran the football yesterday. Is that almost an extension of the culture you're trying to create, the physicality, the toughness? Can you explain that a little bit? Does that go hand in hand?
It does, and it's also, there's like the scheme part of it too, Scott. Like, if the run game's going better, now the play pass is going better. Because the times that you're going to go step up and get in on the run, then you have the chance to, throw one big or a deep shot to go. Those are ones that you want to take your shot down the field to Terry. You want to take your shot across the middle to Debo because of the linebackers or a safety. Like, man, I want to go get a part of this. It does add a lot to your team because when you have to go, finish a drive, finish one, Scott, that's where you have to lean in on that. It was good to see yesterday a third down conversion, saw it from J-Max, saw it from Bill. Now the drive continues and you have a little bit more flexibility because you're willing to show you're in all the spaces to run it. As you get closer to the goal line, that's another area sometimes that you may lean in more. It's difficult. Obviously, you don't have as much field to defend. It's more lateral, so you have to win inside. Some people, like, you've heard the word like phone booth runs, man, like when you got to go get downhill right now. And that's how we had scored on one yesterday. But it does all tie together. It adds to the toughness of the team. But you just got to stay committed to it. It takes work to get better. And by no means are we where we were going to be. We got a lot of work to do, but it's a really important piece of what we do.
I know I asked you last week about takeaways. You had a couple of good chances yesterday to try to get some, still not there.
Yep.
How do you tell the guys to kind of remain positive in the sense, they're coming, guys, they're coming?
Yeah, you want to make sure you're training the guys correctly. And at practice, are we taking the right shots? Are we taking the right angles? Thought we had a chance for an interception. We didn't get to it. But you do have to go in with the mindset to say, we're going to go play our technique first, play it aggressive, and then be willing to go get the ball. I do feel like they're going to come. We just got to keep training the guys, keep digging in for it. It's definitely a drought, so it's time to get out of the drought. But they don't just give them to you either. You got to go fight for them and dig, and give the Raiders credit in that space too.
Thanks, Dan.
You got it, Scott.
Hi, Dan. Following up on that with the turnovers, are there particular drills, things you can try in practice to try to help that and get a couple of those in the games?
You can, Howard. I think there's two ways. Like, first one, from a defensive spot, you're thinking, like, we call it like ball extraction, where I'm punching it out to go. So if you and I were to tackle together, you have a leverage, I have a leverage. If it's to my side, I can go take a shot on it. And then there's other ones in terms of like how to track a deep ball, how to catch a tip pass. And you'd heard us referring to the EPP early, the beginning, the end, extra jugs machines for us to catch the different types of passes. As a defensive player, you don't catch the nice pass that, the quarterbacks would throw on this shoulder or this shoulder. It's above, behind, below your knees. Those are the catches that you have to practice. So we'll continue to do that, but you also have to have the mindset to go do it. When the ball's in the air, it's meant for me. When I got a shot to go take it, it's meant for me. Oftentimes the quarterback's one you can get. I thought Vaughn had a good chance at one. Gino did a nice job of taking care of it. So we'll keep battling for it. But yes, you do, like any skill, man, Howard, you got to go work at it.
And on the running game, in an ideal world, would you prefer to have sort of a main running back who's getting the bulk of the load, or are you okay with the idea of this sort of shared responsibility with a handful of guys splitting carries the way they did yesterday?
I'm comfortable with the shared balance is what's important to me. If there's runners that have unique skills and how to feature ones, we can do that. But having balance, that's what makes an offense most difficult to defend, when it's not just all of one or all of the other, but having the balance to do both. So in all things, sometimes it works itself out after a little bit of time, but going into it, Howard, I'm there. Whether it stays that way, we'll just keep digging and find our way. But I am comfortable sharing the responsibility, and let's see what the game presents, coming up. And sometimes a guy gets hot and feels it, and we'll lean into that too.
Thanks.
Let's go two more, Ben and Candy.
Hey, Dan, the passing game yesterday, you guys were more effective against the blitz than you had been in the first two games. Were there any circumstances beyond the quarterback that maybe led to some easier opportunities or more success there?
Yeah, I don't have a big difference on that one, Ben, to say which one it would more to go. I can think of the early one to one out to Zach, out on a 7 route, one to Terry to go. Some are zone, some are man, so I don't know if it's all of one or the other, Ben, in terms of the blitz. I think it's honestly, man, like making sure the protection's right, and whether it's a 6-man or a 7-man protection, being able to do that. But no, I don't have one reason over another for more effective yesterday versus two previous games.
Offensive line, I get the guard, you like the competition, but considering how much Brandon Coleman played last year, how surprised are you that you're in this spot with him where he's not necessarily locked in as a starter?
Well, I think one thing I do know about Brandon and Nick and these guys, like, man, they're going to put in the work, Ben. And so that's the good piece, to say, hey, he's going to dig in, go for it, and battle for it. And let's see what, the weeks ahead bring, because this guy's made of the right stuff. He wants to dig in and go for it. And so, but that's why I was kind of pretty strong about yesterday. This is where we are today, and we'll see what the next space looks like and where we're going. But that is one thing I've learned about him, over a year and a half. Like, he's going to put the work in to go. And as we're heading into our game 4, we'll see what this week looks like. Honestly, nothing's out of the question in terms of the matchups and how we want to go play. It'll sort itself out. It just it still needs some time to get there, Ben.
Hey there, Coach. Happy Monday. And to kind of piggyback off of JP's question to close us out, going back to the kind of recurring theme of displays of brotherhood, We saw that with you being resilient AF yesterday, and Marcus was pretty emotional after the game and shared about how much support he got from everybody. So how do you I'm asking you, like, how you have started a trend and you are the leader of that culture who then came and corralled around you when you needed it in games. So how do you just keep that culture going so strong and effective as you have so far?
Yeah, well, one, Kenny, I appreciate you saying that. It's really cool. Marcus, we love him, about what he stands for, who he is. I think last night Stacey had showed me the clip of me, getting knocked on my ass and people over there to help. Even Marcus was there, like making sure I was okay. Together, part of my number one job is to help create an environment where these guys can absolutely be their best. And one of the ways that you can be your best is if you have a big crew with you. That's going to help you get there and push you. And we heard a great quote on Saturday about relationships and truth, and it was, I may not get it all the way correct, but have relationships so strong, they can bear the weight of the truth. And these guys are really tight. They're really connected, Candy, because they're willing to lean in and do the hard things together. And so inside the locker room, that's where the people that they're playing for one another, for player to player. And outside, sometimes that can be hard to understand when you're not in the fight with it. But when it's them going for it together, their connection, they want to do it together, those are things, if I can help create that environment, that they have a space that they feel good. I think Marcus is a great example. I knew he would feel unbelievable support because that's what he gives to everybody else. So it was like, man, what a cool time that we get to give that back to him and pay that back to him. So I wasn't surprised by that. But it is cool to see these guys really grow together. They definitely love one another, and you can see how hard they were playing yesterday. That's an extension of each other. So, I'm definitely honored to be a part of it, and whatever small part that is, it's really cool.